Saturday. Welcome back. It's a quarter after the hour. I want to update you on another story that is very New York City centric. This Pied-à-Terre tax, which is confusing those who own co-ops and second homes across New York City, with Mayor Mamdani rolling it out and starting with a notification on social media saying, "You've got mail." Letters on the way to people who have a second home in New York worth more than $5 million. The property may be subject to a new surcharge, the mayor says. So what does it mean? Why is there so much confusion? We're going to find out from the experts. Nicole Bononi-Wilson is the tax controversy manager. What a title, at the national tax firm Prager Metis. Nicole, thanks for joining us here on Newsroom Live. Appreciate your time tonight. So first, why is there so much confusion over this? There's also confusion and there's contention.
I would agree. And thanks for having me, Rich. I often joke with this: only in New York could a French phrase become a tax policy. A pied-à-terre used to mean to many a convenient place to stay in the city. And now, as you stated, may mean some to an annual surcharge from the Department of Finance. The confusion arising out of it is surrounding, I would believe, a three-prong: the valuation and how they're valuing it, the residency, as well as if this is constitutional.
Yeah, because I think right now, when people get these notices, their first thing is to fight it and to say, well, I'm not paying more tax, just because I have a second property. So if you can explain to us, I think there's also, people don't necessarily know if they're the ones who have gotten these letters or why they're getting these letters. So explain to me, or to our viewers, how you're speaking to the people to kind of clear it all up.
Yes. So this tax is specifically targeted to homes in the city that aren't the owner's primary residence. It covers 1 to 2 to 3 family homes, condos, and co-op units that meet certain value thresholds. It's for tax years 26, 27, as well as 27, 28. And again, it's the Department of Finance. If the 1 to 2 to 3 family homes are valued more than $5 million, and the condo and the co-op units valued more than $1 million. It really isn't about what you do for a living. It's about actually where you live. And if New York City is your primary residence, and you can document that you're generally not who this tax is targeting. The challenge is making sure that the city's records match reality.
City officials are stressing that the publication of these taxable properties, because the New York City Department of Finance put out these addresses and the names, there it is, of the people who own these second homes, happens twice a year, and it's required by state law for, quote, public inspection, based on the parameters set by the state law. And even Hochul was saying, the governor saying, nothing was unusual here. Why were people so hung up about that, though, if it is a law?
Because so they tried to pass this back in 2018, and they were doing it more on the assessed value, and it never passed. Here, they rolled it under the budget policy, okay, to make up the deficit of 5 million, or 5.4 million, which they are trying to believe that this will bring in revenue of 5 million. To me, they're basing it on the market value. And like most, when we get that notice January 1st, we didn't know about this type of tax, okay? So most of us didn't appeal the value or what we were thinking it was. And now here we are, months later, where it now is directly affecting us.
What do you see the end result being here?
So I see some confusion going on a lot. I do believe the finance should put out some more regulations or some more guidance. You're going to see a bunch of people appeal, okay? And please note that when you get one of these letters, you have until August 21st or August 24th to make sure it is timely appeal. And one thing I will always stress is open your mail, do not ignore it, and send everything with proof of mailing. If you are one of the lucky ones who don't get a notice, still visit with one of your tax professionals. Note there is a 6-year statute. This is retroactive nature. Again, like I stated, they issued the assessment, but the Department of Finance can audit you for 6 years on this. So it's not your typical 3 years. The other thing, when you go to respond, be very careful. So, a property status may affect not only this tax, but it almost may raise questions in other New York State residency or non-resident audit context. So again, answer carefully and consistency. I know I will be advising my clients to not say things like, I'm there whenever I need to be, or this is not my New York home. Lastly, I'm going to say, be careful in not responding. Don't think you can just hide. I always say, this might be a new tax, but it can grow with interest and penalties. What starts as an unpaid tax just grows and can become a tax lien. In extreme cases, it could even risk foreclosure. The smartest move, again, is to promptly appeal if you disagree or arrange payment if you owe the tax. The tax itself is new, but the enforcement tools that the Department of Finance have are not. They have a well-established system for collecting unpaid property taxes, including, again, liens and foreclosure remedies.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is people's maybe go-to is just ignore it and this will go away and they'll forget about it. But, there's two things that are promised. We talked about it right before. Death and taxes and Pied-à-Terre tax we're going to add to the list as part of the tax. So don't ignore it. Like Nicole was saying, if you need more clarification on it, you should seek help. Maybe they can come to you, Nicole, and you can help work them through it if you're lucky enough to have a second property. But, where all the wealth comes, you got to pay your fair share, I guess.
You are correct. Feel free to reach out as the Prager Medicine. Thank you again, Rich, for having me.
Nicole let me say it, Bononi-Wilson.
You got
it. We appreciate you tonight coming on with us for Newsroom Live. Thanks so much.
Thank you.